Hello, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib. We're about to embark on Bounty 10, which feels like a perfect storm of. We'll get into
Shite.
that, but yes, the perfect shitstorm, as Earth was trying to say. But let me go ahead and introduce everybody, and then we can hop into the slides from left to right on the YouTube screen. It's Venom Hurricane.
Good evening.
And the Earth.
Good evening. And also, Venom, just to let you know, my family, my group does not hate you completely.
Yay.
just parts of you.
Parts of me.
But and Grimace
What's up, everybody?
and Padre Prince.
Hello, pirates.
And this is Hefe.
Also, Mrs. Earth would like to inform everybody that she is also here.
Okay. And Mrs. Earth. We have
Yes.
very good. Alrighty. I'm gonna go ahead and put Grimace on present. And we can go ahead and start with the slides. I think it's going to be a busy show. We're going to start with bug fixes. We've disabled the Dragon Strike campaign due to abuse and bounty. I guess people are forcing a bubble, yada, yada, yada. Fix an issue where some base part targets were failing to show in the locator. This was once they decided to put the, what were they calling those? Legion, the new base part targets. Does anybody remember the name? They were only around for a couple of hours before they realized that they were so overpowered that they needed to pull them, and they didn't reintroduce them this week, which is
Yeah, I think they're still tuning them.
Mm-hmm. And one that they didn't include that I noticed, that they restored the Forsaken mission timers. I guess this was a graphical issue. There's certain items up at the top of your Forsaken mission prize screen, you know, like some of your chest and some of the tokens have a timer associated with them. The timer was removed, but it was still counting down. So they would still expire, even though. And I was so surprised. I never saw any post anywhere besides mine, because my 1 day token expired. Because I thought they got rid of them because they didn't show up. And they did send me 48 gold, which is whatever. But the timers are back, so you know when they do expire. And I guess they're going to have some more bug fixes coming soon, including the fact that they've added new FM prizes that are limited, including like the Gales and the Visago's Icebreaker, and you don't seem to be able to claim them. Last time I was able to check a couple hours ago. But they've added some new stuff. We're not going to get into that because the way the data was presented to us in the forum was a list of all the prizes available in the FM and not the changes. But there have been some interesting things added. They just didn't tell us what was new, what they changed, whatnot. So you had to go through hundreds of things in order to figure out what they changed. It wasn't really selling the idea that well in my mind. So, anybody else have much on bug fixes?
I'm just more concerned about this young lady not having any personal protective equipment on.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I mean, she does have eye protection on. I did notice that. But beyond that, she doesn't seem to be, doesn't have the normal personal protection equipment that you would expect for somebody using, spraying volatile. It's a mess.
Speaking to bug fixes, yeah, I like that they said, I did see where they posted up, hey, we fixed a couple of things, which is nice. I think that it's kind of the tip of the iceberg. Some people in our alliance have been doing some testing. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but there are a vast number of mechanics that are not working properly in the game right now.
Mhm.
I don't know them all because I'm not part of the. I don't have the patience to test that sort of thing. It takes a different breed of human for that. But yeah, there are possibly thousands. I don't know, at least hundreds
Yeah,
of
yeah. I
errors
mean,
that
that's
still need major attention. And I think that the little, oh look, we fixed two things. I would like to see them have a compile a list of all the things that the players can prove are broken that aren't exploitable and post them up
yeah.
so that they know that we know they know they're working on it.
One of the bugs
Yeah.
and mechanics that we were looking at, and I only looked into it very slightly. It's not even close to what it should be, and figuring that one out is going to be an absolute nightmare.
Which mechanics was it? You didn't, I don't think you said.
It was the retrofits. They're just
Ah,
so far broken that the numbers don't add up at all. I don't know how far they got with their testing and how close they got to finding the truth behind it, but from what I saw, the numbers are just all over the place. It, not even close.
Yeah, it would be great if some of that stuff was put in the works in progress, because the stuff that we've been complaining about pretty much every show is the issue with what is shown in your base as far as how you were able to calculate your turret damage and things of that nature. That's been so broken, and it just leads people astray as far as all the stuff that shows up as additive, which is actually multiplicative. And they're aware of it. G. Rakin mentioned it on one of the mentioned on the TFC show a couple of weeks ago, but it's been a well-known issue for about a year, and they still haven't fixed it yet. So players are still trying to calculate. If people who don't watch the shows or follow the pages are still calculating everything backwards, and potentially as we get further along in the show, there's a potential that some of the people at Kixeye don't realize that it's broken when they release new technology to us. We're uncertain of that part of it, but we do know that things like fire support and penetrative, the tier 7 bonuses aren't calculated the way that they're shown inside of your base. And it would explain a lot if they didn't realize that as well when they're releasing, new armors and new weapons and things of that nature.
that's very diplomatic of you to say that they potentially don't know that there's problems in the game.
Yeah.
I'd commend you on your word
Mhm.
choices. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Should we move on?
Sure.
Let's
Roll
go
with
to
it.
the next.
Roll.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
All righty. Bounty 10. Yeah, this is going to be, like I mentioned before, an Earth added in. This is going to be a chance to be quite the shitstorm. So we talked about on previous shows, the stacking of fire supports along with the tier 7 bonuses, damage bonuses, are preventing players that have all the technology in their base. They cannot be hit by players that have all the technology for the ships. They will kill those ships in a matter of seconds. And this is going on during bounty, which is also going to spill over to the replica bases. And I'm not really sure how this is going to work. It really depends on who participates in bounty. If it's only people participating in bounty that have all the technology, it'll be a mess as far as the way I see it, since nobody will be able to crack a base.
It's going to be a lot of grinding, which is and I think every pirate's favorite aspect of playing Battle Pirates.
But wouldn't it be more than grinding? If this is, it's supposedly the replica bases are supposed to be the players that are Oh, in the previous bounty. That's right. It's in the previous bounty that they participated. So
It depends
we'll
on when
see
they
who.
take those snapshots. I don't exactly know when they take when they do the copy and paste feature
Mhm.
to steal those bases and put them on the map. If they do it right before bounty starts for the people, then yeah, a lot more people are going to have it. If they do it right after the bounty that just ended, less people will have that in their base.
Yeah, it
So-
seems that it's much more. It's almost like a live thing, but it's not the state of the base at that point in time. It's the people that participated in the previous bounty, bounty 9, but something close to their current state of their base. So some people may choose not to participate because this is this is not what I signed up for as part of bounty. And so the next bounty could even be more screwy if people realize what's going on. If you don't have all of the turrets that stack up to create these massive damage
Please
numbers.
excuse me for 2 minutes. I have to go and remove the spider from the kitchen for Mrs.
Okay, I'm ready. Are the English spiders little? I never thought about. Thought they had big spiders over there. But we'll hear an update, I guess, when he gets back. I'm going to get into the new rules. The next slides are about the new rules. But does anybody have anything general to say about bounty at this point? Okay, we can move on. Or does anybody want to explain? I know, Venom, you've been spending a lot of time with it as far as, or anybody else, or Padre or whatnot, as far as the current state of PvP, as far as trying to get into a base that has all the current technology. I just sort of zoomed through it quickly. I'm not sure if we want to talk about that in any more detail.
People are not getting in any base that is at max current turrets. I mean, maybe there's a few creative people that have found ways to bypass some, but for the most part, it's going to be more coin and more work than it's going to be worth for whatever bounty you're going to take, unless they are stupid and don't secure.
I think it's been about 1 in 50 bases that I've hit so far have even been remotely possible. And that's just bases over 500 medals. So
Let's be perfectly honest. It's a very much at the minute haves and have-nots. It's either you can do it and walk it, or you can just not even have a chance with it.
And I'll be talking. Sorry,
and a lot of it, in my opinion, is like the people that actually need to be able to do the bounty in order to get to a level where everybody else is. People that need to catch up and stuff like that are the ones that are going to be preyed on constantly over bounty.
Yeah, we'll get into that because they've added a new mechanic into that that's going to make that much worse than it was before.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next slide. The bounty changes. Previously, we had a system where every day you had 5 checkpoints at 2,000, and then another one at 4. So you got up to 8,000 at 2,000 per whack as far as when you secured your bounty. And then the next step during the first 3 days, you had to get another 10,000 and then you secured. All the way to the last day where it was 2,000 at a time until you got to 8,000. And then you had to secure 57,000, which is, a good round number. I'm not sure how they came up with that one, but they've made quite a change where they're day 1, you're allowed to bank whenever you choose 5 times, with 4 the second time, 4 the third time, and then 3 times on day 4. But with an automatic securing of your bounty at 10,000, which does not count against your charges. This seems like a semi-decent idea on the surface. And we'll get into the fact there's been an update as far as when you can do this, which will be the next click. But does anybody have any thoughts on the way this is? This part of the changes, I don't really have a huge issue with. It provides some flexibility if you're going to walk away and whatnot. We're not getting into when you can do this, but just generally, it seems reasonable. Anybody have any thoughts?
It seems to me it takes away that thrill of taking a large chunk of bounty from people. You know, before, especially on whatever Sunday, people had tons and tons of bounty, and you could go and, you know, get a large amount a lot of times from people all at once. And now with you reaching 10,000, it automatically secures. You're maxed out at 5K.
Yeah, no more big bounty bases, which those are the ones that I actually waited for. I would just get on in the evening instead of grinding for hours and hours and hours and go find a few of those bases and catch my secure and be done. I liked that because it would lower your time investment. The first couple of bounties were super time intensive because you had to wait for those jackpots. I mean, we had little groups set up to notify everybody when the jackpots came on. And you had to run out and grab like 5 of them with 5 different fleets and hold them. And then, you know, it was just a pain in the ass. And now there's not even, you know, now you have to just grind bases. And then if it looks like you're going to get their base, or you prep it out properly and they're online, all they got to do is, you know, use one of their 5 daily charges, and there goes a lot of the bounty that you were going to get. So,
if not all of it.
Yeah. Grimace, one more click.
and usually the bases that have a lot of the bounty, they're the ones that can afford to lose the bounty. The lower level bases that have bounty, that, you know, the ones that are grinding, the low level guys aren't in that category. I can go get more. If someone wants to take my bounty, I'll just go get some somewhere else. You know, I'll keep it moving. But
Yeah.
the little guys are the ones that are going to be even more.
Yeah, I think, you know, the idea is okay-ish. It's just implemented wrong, I think. You know, if you're gonna, hey, I don't know that you want to ever have in a bounty, if you could hit bases anyway, so maybe next month. I don't know that you want to have a point where everyone's worth nothing, because there's no incentive that way to one side of the equation. What would probably have been better is if you had done, like, you know, you got 5 banks the first day. The first one's going to be 90% of your bounty, right? And then the next one will be like 80, and it'll progressively go down. That way, it's going to there'll be an incentive for players not to bank until they have a good amount of bounty, which will also have bounty in the system and bases for people that want to hit. So there'll be incentive on both sides of the equation there. The way it is now, you can just, I mean, you know, time your login, get, you know, 800, wait 3 minutes, get the other 800, bank 1,600 and get off. You know, I don't know.
But 1,600 across 4 days, 3,200, 6,400. What are you getting?
I'm just saying that's just an option for someone to do. I mean, if you got 5 banks, you got 5 banks the first day, right?
And 4 drops.
Yeah, so it's 3,200 a day for 4 days. You can get a turret or something else.
Okay, yeah. So you could get
12,800.
Yeah. So
just doing that, you know, which is and you know, you're not worth anything to anybody. There's no incentive anywhere. I mean, it's just the whole yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to wake up and, you know, because one of those ones you know, or a couple of them, you sort of have to go out of your way to log on. You know, if you're on all the time, that makes sense. I always miss one per day. I'm either sleeping or whatnot. But
Well, one of them still carries over, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't spend all my time here, but
So,
See,
so to
That's why you
I'm
get
in the
two
other
apps.
boat where I can literally can't get on for the entire bounty. Really, I like literally have got probably about 2 hours now, and then probably tomorrow evening, which I'm going to be able to get on all week. So I'm kind of screwed, to be perfectly honest. But
Yeah.
you know,
Watch out, 53.
sorry, mate.
I'm sorry. I said, watch out, 53s.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's the other thing is did you guys already cover the new rule too?
No, that's next.
No,
Next.
I haven't
That's
done that
that's.
yet.
I'm waiting. I kept that as a separate slide because that's a whole different.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
this one, this rule, I don't have any huge issue with. The next rule, I think, is considering the current. Well, I mean, we can get into that. I guess we can go ahead and get
Yeah.
into that.
well, before we go on,
The game.
before we go on, I just wanted to say something about this post. That if it works this way, that also takes away some of that thrill and some of that strategy of, say you're a lower level player, not one of the big boys, but you're lower level and you're grinding, getting bounty points, and you kind of have to manage, you manage certain aspects of your gameplay or whatever, and you're like hurrying up, trying not to get attacked, whatever, hoping you don't get attacked, whatever it may be. And this one kind of sucks because if someone's hitting you, you just bank, you secure it, and you don't have that. There's not that that excitement that someone might come and get you while you have a large amount of bounty sitting there.
I think the
for
word you're
taking.
looking for is trepidation.
Maybe.
I think at this point, Grimace is rock hard, is what he's saying. Like, oh, I need to get this done. He finds a great deal of fear and excitement and whatnot.
Well, and it's that excitement of when you find a base that has a lot of bounty like that, and you're like, holy shit, and there's 3 other people going for the same base at the same time. There's some excitement to that, and I think that's taken away a lot of that.
So everyone's gonna have a gunboat on their base, and the minute the gunboat gets hit, they're just gonna bank.
Yep.
So
I need to build one of those.
We have a dead PvP, area, and you're not gonna be able to hit bases anyway because they'll just use the gunboat and bank. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good weekend to go fishing.
Yeah, except for unless you're one of the few people that doesn't have at least 6 ballistic turrets, or you don't have, you need to get at least 1 more ballistic turret. Because there's I think there's a lot of people in that boat that need at least 1 more ballistic turret to make, to piss everybody off.
So those players are the ones that. Yeah, those players are the ones that probably won't be, well, except for maybe Earth. They're the ones that are going to be grinding or have been grinding in the last bounties as well. So you probably do want to go to the next slide because this is going to segue perfectly for this.
Yeah.
I would suggest to anybody that is in that situation to wait at least 24 hours before joining so you can see what the fallout is for everything. Because if the only thing that's going on is people whacking the baby seals, because all the map targets are going to be like eaten up by anybody that's playing that can hit them easily. I mean, hell, people are probably going to be autoing those, so that you're not going to be able to grind that. You're not going to be able to hit other bases. What exactly are you going to do? Do you want to actually get into bounty and get whacked every couple hours?
No, I wouldn't recommend that at all. I would recommend start it up day 1 because you got the 5 and you're going to need them. Get your 800, and then you get your defense points, another 1,000 secure, and then wait for your next 800 drop. Secure, or maybe get another 200 or something where somebody's probably not going to hit you for 100.
Yes,
it might be easier. Well, it depends on what's easier out on the map. See if they come and hit you for 100. But what I'm saying is, you can either coordinate your defense hits, which I assume are still around, I haven't seen any mention that they were dropped. Combined with your 800 drop, so you have 1800. Secure it. You're worth nothing. Then wait for your next drop. Secure it. Da 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 da. Down. I would start day one, but just secure as soon as you get any points. Don't even really play the game. Just secure it. Go out, hit the time limited campaigns. Do your FM, whatnot, and that seems like it would be. Don't you think that's a better strategy for a player that doesn't have all the tech? Why would you wait 24 hours and leave all that on the table?
If you're gonna get into it and you're a baby seal, right? I would rather know what the atmosphere is before joining in, because if you join in and all the map targets are just crap or just completely eaten up, there's going to be an absolute feeding frenzy on baby seals, because everyone's going to be waiting for the minute that you show up on that friggin' locator, someone's going to be at your door.
Every 2 hours.
But what I'm saying is, I'm suggesting that they're going to secure immediately. Because you're not going to get. You just said,
but see, look, you just said, hey, well, you can do the 800 drop and then bank and then do your defense thing. I will guarantee you, if it's the way that I'm thinking, and there's no map targets, and the minute someone goes to friggin' do like a defensive hit, they're going to get hit. They're not going to get their friggin' full defensive hits. There's going to be someone at people's doors nonstop for the baby seals, because it's easy points. There's no damage. And what are you going to do? It's nicer. It's better to hit someone's base than a map target.
Okay. Well, okay. So your idea is to drop the defensive. Why not?
I would wait. I would just say my personal opinion would be wait for a day and see how it actually goes. I mean, they're looking. Kixeye's looking at PvP. They're aware of the situation. They've been talking about, like, we don't know what's going on, because of course there's no communication. So
yeah. And Grimace, could you click one more time, because I think we're talking on the next slide that we need to explain.
Yep, that's the one.
Bounty players are no longer restricted to hitting someone with more unsecured bounty in order to steal from them. They can now steal from anyone who has exposed bounty. All other hitting rules remain the same. This is really a broken mechanic that only serves. It only serves the top. Yeah. It only serves the top 0.5% of players participating in bounty, and I find it to be complete bullshit, because now players that don't have all the tech can be hit by anybody. It's complete and total bullshit. This should never been in. Go ahead.
It's just anyone who suggested and the people that implemented this process are so damn stupid that they clearly don't give a damn about anybody lower than them in the game. This is the kind of suggestion that I would put in if I wanted to do nothing but get points. I mean, seriously, how are you going to say that you are trying to take care of and bring up the lower part of the game to play more when you put a mechanic in the game that completely screws them out of getting bounty, because they are going to lose bounty every time their bubble is down if they don't.
But it's not even that. I mean, I'm a fucking level 118, right? I've been playing this game since it came out, and because of my work scheduling and with, like, every time bounty comes out, it just so happens that it coincides with like a bank holiday for us. So because of my work schedule, I can't get on to do it. So I'm trying to catch up, and this just rawly fucks me, because I haven't got the 6 turrets in that I need to have in. I've only got 4. I'm a bit screwed. So it's even end game players really that are affected by this, and it's just all the time. People hit me all of the time because of obviously who I am as well as everything else, and it's just, they know damn well they can get into my base because I haven't got said turrets and stuff like that. So it's just, I'm just going to get hammered constantly through bounty. So really, all I can do is be on tomorrow and get as much as I can get in, and then that'll be me, really, and just like I'll just get hammered for the rest of it. But it's not just the case of it's only going to be the lower level players. It's also going to be the higher level players that just haven't, because of real life, being able to get everything they need to be getting through, because everything's so regimented as to we only get this available for this, and we only get this available for this, and everything else.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and I think I'm guessing that this may have come about because there's never anybody on the locator, right? And to me, I'm like, why didn't you just fix the locator, right? I mean, or at least do like maybe a percentage base or something, like just opening it up like this without changing like the minimum, because you can still hit level 50s, right? I mean, without changing that or addressing that, I don't know that this was the time to do this. Like, I can see the idea behind this. They want to have more bounty in the system, but this is not how to do it.
Wait, and I want to just clarify, when you say the locator was broken, do you mean the fact that it would only show like a couple of sectors?
I didn't say the locator was broken. I said they had to fix the locator. Yes, that's the part that they need to fix. It's very easy to just take a random sample of the entire world to find you a target, rather than just look a couple of sectors out from where you're at.
Or change the locator to show unsecured bounty.
That would still, well, that's what it used to do. It would only go a couple of sectors out.
No, I'm saying instead of the top 100 bases that have bounty, because on the second day you have to be like, all right, if they got this much bounty the first day, I need to look for players between here and here. But if the leaderboard just shows players with unsecured, just their unsecured amount?
Yeah, I'm not talking about what we did was go to the leaderboard to find our targets, right? That's what you had to do after a certain amount of time, because there's nobody in the locator. What I'm saying is the locator should have just been fixed, so that way it would just search the entire world, not just a couple sectors out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to clarify.
I mean, that would have at least given you targets. You know what I mean?
And I think that's where this came from, is that people that were at the top were saying, "Hey, we don't have any bases to hit.
Dude,
we're sitting around here twiddling our thumbs."
Yeah, after the first 3 hours of the last bounty, I didn't have anybody to hit most of the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Now what they could have done is to implement this, because I can kind of maybe see what they're thinking, but what they should have done is like, hey, a really simple percentage based type of thing that was concurrent with like a level. So if you're like a level 100 and you're going to hit a level 60, instead of getting 50%, right, you get something related to the disparity. So maybe you get 20% instead of 50%.
Yeah, but the problem is we still have the broken mechanic as far as the repair time in the base relative to the bubble time.
That's a whole nother story.
But it relates to what you're saying as far as, okay, you don't get as much. I was thinking more like if, you need to be in some sort of strata as far as total bounty. If you have over, 20,000 bounty on the first day.
You've also got
because that's going to limit it. That's going to limit it even further than it already is. That wouldn't solve.
No, it would open things up. If you had over 20,000 on the first day, and there's another class that has 20 to 50 or whatever, you have different classes. As it would just make it really complicated. I don't think it would restrict things, because what I'm saying is that rule would apply if you're in that bounty category, but that makes it more complicated. Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't really.
I think it would limit I think it would limit what your targets would be, and I think this is designed to actually increase your target base. I just think it would.
Yeah, but it increases your target base too much. I'm talking about what was going on before. This is fucking broken. This is going to shut down bounty I'm really glad.
Bounty's going to be shut down because PvP's broken and no one wants to frickin' play.
Yeah, well, that's one issue, but this is going to shut down Bounty the way this is implemented. I'm glad because I'm having a really hard time getting a picture for Bounty 11, but this mechanism is going to shut things down because who's going to want to participate in Bounty 11 if you're missing one piece of technology or one or two pieces of technology because I ran the math earlier today. If a fleet of missile storm cruisers hits a base with one, and you have one execution or two, it would take you 85 hours to kill it, to kill that fleet. Run the numbers, and I think you'll agree with me.
Say that again?
A full fleet of missile storm cruisers with the normal armor that we put on there, and then you have one executioner, two, unboosted. So you're doing 360, right? Every 9.5 seconds. Figure out how long it takes to chew down that armor and kill that fleet. I came up with 85 hours.
Well, most people have more than one execution.
Yeah, you
if
can't.
they're actively playing the game. But yeah, I mean that's too long.
But what I'm saying is, we'll get into that later. But what I'm saying is, this whole tier bonus, which I've talked about several times, the tier bonus damage increase combined with the deflection and the pass through it's a really broken mechanic the way it's been implemented at this point in time. I mean, you can run the numbers.
Now you're talking about PvP itself, and we all know that that's broken. I mean, that's egregiously broken.
But what I'm saying is they've implemented this change right here, the one that we're looking at on the slide, while that situation is still ongoing. So if you don't have all the technology and you're trying to get additional technology, you're not going to touch those fleets that come into you. You're just doing minimum damage. They kill your base, or they don't kill your base the first time, and you can still have 6 of them. Divide by 6. You're not doing much more damage. So as opposed to 85 hours,
which is why
12 hours.
Right. But Hefe, that's exactly why I said that everyone that's lower level should be waiting 24 hours to see what the atmosphere is like. Now you're going on the opposite, or like you're arguing opposite what you did 10 minutes ago.
No. What I'm saying is, claim the 800, start day 1, claim the 800, and secure it with your charges immediately. Don't leave any exposed bounty. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Don't wait for a day. Take advantage of your 5 charges on the first day and those drops. You're never exposing any bounty. Are you not getting that? I mean, we seem to be agreeing, except for the fact that I'm not sure you're getting the fact that
No, I
I
understand what you're saying. I just think that given the atmosphere of the way things are right now, and how because there's not going to be base hitting, and the map targets are just not going to have the points as compared to bases. Anybody that's a baby seal is good. I mean, there's going to be people waiting in line to hit these guys.
I'm not talking about the replica bases. I'm saying those 800-point drops that you get every 6 hours or whatever. Log in day 1, start bounty day 1, get that 800, use a charge, secure it. You're not worth anything. Wait another 6 hours. It's a boring game, but wait another 6 hours or however many, claim that, secure it. Claim it, secure it. Claim it, secure it. And so now you end up with an extra 3,200 points that you didn't have before by waiting a day.
If you didn't SOS, if you got in and got to bank everything quick enough before someone hits you. I mean, there's a lot of factors there, and I just don't think. Here's the thing: if they've lowered the map target values, so anytime anybody logs in, that 800 is going to be a shining bright star for anybody to hit.
400.
Yeah, 400.
It'll be 400.
Yeah, be a lot of bounty. I mean, it's not a realistic payout for the damage that you're going to take hitting the base, the damage that you're going to take hitting even your opponent bases, because most of them, well, a lot of them have those stupid vanquishers in there. And even those do damage to your fleet, unless you're running a Mort fleet, which is just annoying and takes forever. I don't like it at all. I think the point values are too low. I think that the setup for this bounty is just broken. Even just mirrors the whole game right now. So, what do you do?
I don't know. Should we move
The thing
on,
is,
or are we...
I mean, you can't even sit it out, can you? Because, you know, well, you can if you've got everything at the minute, but
I
you know what I mean?
think you can even
You
if you
can't.
don't have everything.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next slide, Grimace. Okay. This is the prices of everything. The stuff in red is new technology. So the new technology we'll get into in detail. Just so you know the prices, everything is 10,000 per of the new stuff, with the exception of the impacted cruiser, which is 45,000. And let's go on and take a look at the prizes.
Is there any point
Already
having
irrelevant.
the impact
Yes,
cruiser?
I'm already unimpressed.
Yeah. Once you run the numbers and you create a really lopsided build, terribly lopsided build, where you only put on MC1 and MC2. This hull, which specializes in ballistic deflection, is still extremely vulnerable to Howies. Because as you see, we saw the Javelin 2 was released, which ups the tier 7 bonus to 8 turrets. No, I'm saying this specializes in ballistic, and it still doesn't do ballistic right.
Yeah, Reader's Digest version, it's gonna die. It's gonna die.
Yeah, it's not, you know, and it does worse against. Well, let's go to the next slide.
Yeah, there's no point in even getting that ship. It's not getting in anybody's base.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say everybody, but you're not gonna run around the map bragging about that thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On the left-hand side, I built it out, like I said, with the MC2s, 2 MC2s and 3 MC1s, and you'll see the ballistic deflection value is 5.6 million. But currently, the max deflection damage after the raid that you'll be able to achieve is 7.6 million. Then you got to split that in half. So basically, you're doing just under a million, right around $1 million per critical hit. So boom. Now you got the Executioner 2, very similar thing that's going on. So I'm at a loss why they released this way. I mean, it's not. Is it helping the game? Because if you take a look at this, it only has explosive and penetrative deflection. There's no explosive. There's no radioactive. I mean, a Hope is going to take this thing out in no time flat, and it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it doesn't even. It's not even like a greedy thing that people like to say, oh, Kixeye is greedy.
No, it's just
this is PvP. Incompetence thing.
PvP is broken, and I think that there's a fundamental flaw in the way that they had designed stuff. I think, looking at the numbers, I think my best guess is that 2 different teams were working on 2 different things. One was on the tier 7 crap, and the other was on the armor and balancing, this mess. And the left hand didn't talk to the right hand again. Shocker, because we've seen that how many times over the years.
Or the Stranger, which is even more weird.
Yeah, one or the other. And and the thing is if you take the group bonuses and you change it to an additive stack instead, the numbers come into line much better. Still not perfect. I mean, it's still a little bit wonky, but it's far closer than what we have right now. And I have a feeling that there's something that somebody missed. Like either someone told the people that were designing this that it's an additive stack and not multiplicative, and then no one went back and checked with each other, and now we're at this freaking disaster, and everybody's screwed. And you know, I hope they don't do just a knee jerk. Hey, let's buff X, Y, or Z. I want them to go back and find what the hell they fucked up, and fix it first. And then from there, figure out, hey, are we balanced or are we off on something? Because right now, if they're looking at anything, you're off no matter what the hell you do because something got fucked somewhere.
Then what do they do for all the players that have built their guards, bases, and hitting ships revolved around the numbers and the way the damage is working now? If they do
It
run
hasn't
an
stopped
additive,
them before.
then
Yeah.
you know, we come into a situation where, you know, I've spent coin refitting things to work in an environment, a multiplicative environment. If that's not the way they're supposed to be working and it's supposed to be additive, you know, I'm going to expect something in the way of return on investment if
I
you're going to
think-
go ahead and change all that.
I think the
because-
best option, well, no, I think the best option that would actually avoid that is adjusting the armor to match the multiplicative stack.
that I'm fine with, because then I don't have to coin.
Exactly.
But yeah, just changing it to additive, I think would be a bad reaction, especially if they just do what they normally do and do it and say, guess what? Today, everything's additive. So, okay, now I'm, you know, everything that I've worked for is different. So I would urge caution if anyone from Kixeye is listening to think about what they're doing. Might not be a bad idea to reach out to players once in a while about PvP aspects of the game, because we think about these sorts of things. We're the ones down in the trenches spending the coin, playing the game, and I don't think, you know, I don't think a lot of the people at Kixeye play this game nearly as much as we do. So I think there's definitely, again, there's a huge resource at their disposal that they just choose not to use, and they choose to ignore for the most part, which for as a player, I find infuriating.
Yep. And I really, you know, if they're gonna fiddle with anything, think long and hard before you touch anything. I think looking at everything the way it sits right now on our plate, the least hurtful thing that could be done is adjusting the armor. That way people's builds don't get fucked. You can still not, you don't have to try and mess and fix the group bonus. I mean, every time something gets fixed, something else doesn't. So
Because they fixed it wrong.
I mean, you know, it's just you know, and I think, you know, it took a little bit to try and figure out exactly what the hell is going on because no one was talking to us. We didn't know if this was actually how it was supposed to be. We had no context. Apparently, they didn't have any context about what was going on in the game because they're probably just looking at metrics or something and going, okay, well, this looks fine, and you know, only X% has this, and not realizing that that X% is the ones that PvP, and you just killed PvP in the game. I mean, they really got to think through some of the stuff that they do, and yeah, they do have to use the resources that they have available to them. I wish they would, you know. But I think the least hurtful thing right now is you got the two armors on the table. People already have them fitted to their hulls. You know, I think of all options, that's probably the least hurtful, rather than try and make up something new that might have ramifications later on that, you know, you didn't think about, because that never happens, right?
Well, I mean, I agree with what's already been released, but as far as moving forward, this is not a good model. The damage increase associated with the tier 7 to overcome a deflection is proven to be a model that they can't handle. They can't seem to balance it. I mean, in the future, because how long has this been going on, tier 7?
This year, right?
5 months.
5 months. Okay. So next year we'll get tier 8. Okay. So 8 months, you know, when are they going to balance it? A couple months. So 8 months out of the year, it's fucked up. I mean, this is not a good It doesn't appear to be a good model. I mean,
Yeah,
they don't seem
and
to
we
be able
had
to handle it.
yeah, and we had that conversation at the beginning of the year. I think that when they transition into anything, it has to be more gradual. This leaps and bounds thing just it's not a viable way of going forward. It didn't work in 2017. It's not working so far this year in 2018, and we're already halfway through the year, almost halfway through the year. I mean, yeah, slow movements.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
because it
way,
was December when they said there'd be no, this is to reduce swings in the game.
surprise.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
this is
I
not.
feel like
All I have
people-
to
the
say
people
on the matter
making-
is that
people
just
making
remember
these-
that you said micro swings.
What are
Micro.
micro swings?
Yeah.
I haven't seen those.
David
No.
Parker, I can't hear you again.
I feel like the people making the decisions here are not looking at the game. They're looking at a profit and loss statement. They're looking at a spreadsheet with some numbers, and they're not actually involved in the game at all. It's like too. Am I
It's
too
that,
quiet?
and I also reckon that they got bipolar. Big
Yeah,
time.
well, I mean, it's sort of like a story. I'm gonna tell a story.
Tell a story. Well, before you tell a story, can you fix your mic so we can hear you?
Oh, is this better?
There you go.
I had to move it
Yeah, I already
close to
turned
my-
him up, so yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I
Okay,
moved it
yeah.
close to my word hole. So, a group of doctors are given some, I'm in the medical field. So a group of doctors are given a Chem 7, which is just basic labs on a human being. They're told to evaluate the human and get back to the doctor. They were told what room number and all this other stuff. So no one went and visited the patient, right? They all came back and said, "Oh, this patient's going to die. Why? How are they even still alive? They've got their potassium levels so off. I don't even understand how their heart's beating." And the attending said, "Well, good job, guys. You did some great evaluations on the patient. Unfortunately, none of you visited the patient, and these lab values were from a shark." So that's kind of the situation that I think we have here. We're
No
looking at
context.
numbers on a paper from the top, and we're not evaluating what's actually going on in the game. So I don't know. That's a story that I always remembered through, that I've always kept close in dealing with medicine is you've got to treat the patient. And here the patient is the game, and the game is very sick. But if you don't actually visit the game and see what's going on in it, you're never going to be able to assess what's going on and what's broken and come up with a strategy to fix it. There, story time's over.
Where's my milk and cookies? Damn it!
Oh, I left them in your
Son of a
your
bitch.
bedroom.
Oh, did you now?
It's not creepy. I've got a guy. There's a guy on Battle Pirates. He does background searches for me. Do I know everything?
I'm not even touching that one. I'm not even touching that one.
Sorry,
I'm
couldn't
just.
resist.
I'm
I
leaving
didn't,
that
I didn't say any names, but funny stuff. All right. Anyone want to talk about the impacted cruiser more?
Not really.
Yeah, that's a piece of shit. Oh, here's another good idea.
In the game the way it is now, I mean, it's all fucking. I mean, I'm going fishing this weekend. I'm gonna cut grass. I'm not playing bounty because I don't need to.
So on to the next awesome idea for bounty prizes.
Yep. A cannon with
kind of
radioactive
deflection?
deflection.
Oh, that's pretty useful.
Yep. Radioactive deflection. Interesting.
What good does this do anyone? What big weapons
my guess.
can you
Yeah,
in
I
your
mean,
base?
my best guess is that the next turret's going to be radioactive. I mean, that's kind of like the takeaway from this, because there's nothing that's going to harm any of the tier 7 conquerors that's radioactive. I mean, not unless you go completely lopsided on the armor build, and even then it's pointless to do that because you're still going to die in like 2 shots. So what the hell? So yeah, I'm assuming that if that was like several damage types, then maybe they want you to go lopsided, and this is to make up for other turrets. But yeah, no.
Maybe it's a reactive move to poloniums and other radioactive damage types on the map and in the
Because they're still on.
in the
They're still
base.
on. No, they're still on pass through. That's all pass through damage.
well, that is pass through, but
You still have the pass through on this. Actually, well, no, it's still 360. It'd be the
still
same pass through.
360. I don't know. I didn't really look at these prizes other than I saw it gave radioactive deflection, and I said, "What the hell were they thinking?"
Yeah, my biggest issue is the lack of. I mean, if you were going to use this, is the lack of splash. I mean, it does have elevated wall damage, but getting this is a Blitzhall. I mean, it gets up to without even trying, it gets speeds way up into the 80s,
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
and there's no splash, so it's not going to take down walls. It'll take down, if you have 4 or 5 layers of walls. The way it looks, it's not gonna, it's gonna do like a chiclet thing to your walls. It's not gonna burst through them. And normally, when you have something like this, it has splash associated with it, so it takes out chunks of walls. This
I mean, could it be like a rush to the back of the base? I mean, I know it's not going to work on a base that has everything, obviously, because we've already seen the reflections are too low. But on a base that doesn't, is it like a rush to the back and then work your way forward, kind of like the old days of some of those?
Oh, I hope they rush with this hull and see what happens. You're going to see scatter subs back in the base being driven at you. You're going to see, there's several damage types that just aren't represented on this hull at all. This is not a rush hull. The only thing you could potentially do with it is run it with a mortar fleet.
So, my other thought on that is they keep saying,
so
they're slowly rolling out things. Maybe it's not the greatest right now.
Look at the
hey, breaking news. So the Javelin 2 turret is going to be removed from the Bounty Season 10 prize list. So that's going to be removed. And
replacing it?
Nope. They're not. Also, they're taking the guard fleets. They're taking the guard fleets out of the replica bases. And what else does he say here?
So the only thing that was of moderate value in the bounty just got taken out.
Yep.
That's the only thing I was going for.
Taken.
Removed.
So the Javelin 2 is out from Bounty Season 10. It'll return at a later date. So I'm guessing it's either going to be in the raid or the next bounty. And then the guard fleets in the replica bases are going to be removed. So I'm.
Hey, Grimace, could you find this or no? Could somebody find this and screen share it? It's hard for me to find this stuff because I'm, banned from the forums.
Oh.
Could you screen share it, George? Just so we can share it. Everybody can, participate.
Let me go.
Your reading is very good, but a lot of people.
Let me go to the forums and find it.
Here,
then.
I've got it pulled up. You mean you want to see?
Okay.
You want to read it?
I've got
Javelin
it
2 turret is
Okay.
being that one.
Earth's got it up.
Okay, go ahead,
Okay.
Earth. I love your voice. That creepy.
Okay.
So there you go.
Oh, okay.
Still a bit of zoom in.
Yeah.
Is that better?
There you go.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah. Yay.
So that's a good call. I wonder, maybe they should have talked to people about some of these changes.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I if I were them, I probably would just go, hey, let's postpone this. Or, maybe skip Bounty 10, work on PvP, get it straightened out for the next bounty, and put everything in the raid. After you fix the fucking raid, because the last raid was a shit show. So.
Yeah. Let's fix one problem at a time, maybe, instead
Yep.
of creating 10 more fires that we're trying to put out ineffectively. All right.
Well, at least I am not interested in doing bounty anymore now, so that's good.
Yeah. Can you take Arf off present though?
Yeah, sorry.
Already done. Wow. So that now there's really no reason to do this.
Yeah. Happy days.
Well, maybe we'll take a different look at the other blueprints that are not associated with the main hall. Let's move on, Grimace. One more slide. Okay, this is related. So I'm not sure. Does anyone want to talk about the ballistic calibrator?
That's actually a decent special.
Yeah.
Conqueror and Defender. Interesting options.
Because one of the main things on the or problems with the the chain gun cannon is accuracy. So does this provide more accuracy? Yeah, to a degree. The damage doesn't matter because you're not going to break deflection with ballistic anyway with the armors that we have. But yeah, yeah.
I mean, but I just thought. I mean, now by removing the javelins, they've made the hall relevant again.
Yeah, but for how long though? This is the thing that we're not stupid.
Yeah, but we got these 2 weeks wins.
How is it relevant now?
Well, unless you want to run, because before you had 8 ballistic. Now we're back to 6.
Okay.
You wanna use your fancy dancy calculator?
You're still at 8 missiles, and you can get 4 halos.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there is that, of course, but
I'm just saying, with 4 halos, you're gonna get your group 8 no matter what, and Lord knows if they've checked to see if it stacks beyond 8, because if it stacks to 10, everybody's fucked.
Oh, the one shot everything.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I hope someone checked that. I mean, that would be the first thing that I would check.
It'll be fine, because by tomorrow, they'll have taken the halos out as well.
That sounds like a good call. Just take everything.
No, there's no halos in here. Unless do they add halos somewhere?
Yeah, the Halo 2's available in that.
And you can get 4 of them.
And you can get 4, yeah.
Yep.
How did I miss that?
Yeah, I didn't.
Did they change that?
No, you've just been obviously been out getting a beer or something. I don't know.
Or that.
No, I went through the whole thing. I didn't see 4 halos, but okay. I guess I missed that. I mean, that's. They should have removed that at the same time if they want to make this new hall relevant.
Well, even without those, I mean, the bases that have the 8 already, I mean.
Well, you can have 8 penetrative and 6 ballistic at this point in time.
Right. And what's its pen deflection? You lopside the
pen deflection. Well, it's got 0 built-in pen deflection,
right?
So it's fucked from the offset.
Yeah. Well, Grimace, you want to go backwards? I showed that number.
I mean, if you lopside an MSC build,
there we go. So it's penetrative deflection is basically 2.3.
Yeah, you're fucked. I mean, a lopsided MSC build will die to executioners. This is not gonna, you know what I mean? This ain't gonna fucking survive.
It's gonna get anywhere. It's not even gonna get anywhere close. So
executioners even kill the missile cruiser.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Even max deflections, even with night watches, it still dies relatively quickly.
So yeah. Like I said, I mean, I think at this point, they have realized that PvP's broke. I think the best option for everybody is to just take a breather at this point. Give them some time to fix it, right? Not screw it up. Don't do knee-jerk reaction. Hey, let's do this to fix it. No. Don't do that. Take the time. Postpone this. Cancel it for the month. Just something. Give yourselves some time. Take a breather. Find out exactly what got fucked where, and work from that starting point, not backwards.
Grimace, let's go forward one.
Scrap.
Oh,
You scrap that. Can you do?
yes,
Let's delete
whatever.
that.
Oh my god, I thought it was fresh news at that point.
Sorry, Hefe.
Let's shorten.
Whatever.
To the
One
next one.
recommendation. Oh my
Yeehaw.
god, they scrapped it before I even got to the slide. Oh wow.
I'm all confused because Earth is still screen sharing for some reason.
Well, he's screen
I
sharing.
am. I don't know why. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell's going on?
There we go. There's that cat.
All right.
Yeah. So you get a
Um,
little bit of range out of this
There you
one.
go. It's off now.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Yeah, I think it gets your missile storm cruiser out to a range of like 118. So a little bit more sniping ability. You go from 110, I think, to 118 when I look at
Well,
this.
what's the
So-
what's the other one? The scope with the concussive rocket on an onslaught get you?
That's like 141.
On an onslaught?
No, it's
No,
like
on
No,
a
no,
119.
bounty.
sorry, on a hope it
Is it 119?
Right.
Is it 119? So it brings
Some-
it in
I
line
have
with
to
that.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I know it's longer, but I know on other ships, certain defender hulls, it can be brought up to the 137 range or 130 something range. But
Yeah, it's 137 or 141 or something stupid like that.
Mhm. Okay.
so yeah, I don't
You
care
know,
about that. That's
looking
special.
at that at those notes, that actually kind of maybe makes a little bit of sense because you're essentially, let me see if I think about this. So you're essentially giving everybody that has their crap a weekend off, right? But you're also allowing the lower level players a chance to get the 4 halos to maybe get their executions up. So at least they're going to kind of give an option for the bases to get in line, and then they're going to give themselves some time to fix crap. This might actually be not a bad idea.
Well, Grimace, go all the way back to the prize list. Unless they've changed things, because I copied and pasted this, and I put it into a spreadsheet.
10,000
Okay.
Halo missile 2
Okay.
times 1,
Okay. Yeah. The
max
Halo
4.
missile is there. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I missed that one.
No, you're fine, man. I mean, it's just, but I think that actually, that's probably the next best option to just taking a month off of it. Huh. Interesting. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking out loud. Actually, crap. It's 7:15. I have to go pick up somebody. I'm sorry, guys.
Have a good night, George.
I got a jet. I'll talk to you guys later.
Hey, George.
Later, George.
All right. Let's go to the next one, since everything that we're talking about is
Well,
seems
look at
to be
this.
irrelevant at times.
It's low
How
hanging.
did this? So, yeah, there's rumors of an alliance protest going on.
Well, there
what's
is,
going on with
and there is, and even before they took the Jav out, I can tell you that SDS7 was not going to be and is not going to be participating in any bounty event for Bounty Season 10. And several other alliances have committed, if not their entire alliance, they've committed a number of players to not participating in the bounty. I have a feeling that that number is going to increase drastically now that the Javelin is gone, because that's pretty much the only thing that most players were going to go
achieve,
for. Yeah, that was. I mean, you looked at your slides. What was there was one slide. It said, "Get this." That's gone. So now it's like get bent. And I can just kind of run down what's being protested and all the questions here. And if anyone wants to ask anything about it, because I haven't been very public with what the leaders, myself included, have kind of been talking about. We're protesting just kick size basic management of the game. You're throwing events at us 2 times a month. You're not balancing the game. You're not making targets reasonable to hit. And this is raid and bounty. You keep changing things for the worse, and nothing seems to be going in a positive direction for the players. So at this point, it's kind of the only thing that seems to speak to them is would be a financial incentive for them to make things better. That's that's the only way, that's the only language I think that they're going to understand. And that's sort of the hope, is that they will take notice of their game, because right now no one at Kixeye, in my opinion, is looking at the game and seeing what's going on inside of it. I don't know if
So,
that makes
so what? Who are these players, and what are they going to do?
Well, it's been at least, it's been talked about with all of the top 10 alliances, excluding one. I already had heard, in no uncertain terms, would they be skipping bounty. They would be participating and taking advantage of the bases that didn't participate. But in my alliance, and I told the others, look at the prizes that come out. If they follow suit with what they have been following, it's not going to be worth it. They're not going to do damage to bases, and you're wasting your time and money getting these prizes. So, several alliances have fully committed. I mean, we've talked to Cass, NBK, Hour One, DDNA, Pops One, Gangs, Crow, some Gimps, some DSCS. We've been in contact with SODP, is I think taking a vote on whether they wanted to do it or not, and some BPL are not going to be participating in this bounty, regardless of what they had in a prize list, because they're just dangling these carrots, and I'm going to tell you, they're rotten carrots at this point. They are completely and utterly out of touch, and what they're offering in a game as far as playability is unacceptable, and that needs to be made known loud and clear, in my opinion. And I think we can talk about it on these shows, and we can talk about it on forums, but in the last 6 months, how much effective change and how many positive changes has anyone in this group, and I would pose that question to anyone in Battle Pirates, seen in the game to where we are now?
This year's just been completely shite, really, to be perfectly fair. Towards the end of last year, we had all of this hope and kind of, we're going to fix it. We're going to look at taking a look at PvP, and we're going to, sort it out so we have micro swings and this and that. It just hasn't seemed to happen. It's 2018 is the year of the refit. Up to now, and I'm bored of it. Everybody else is bored of it, I think. It's just constantly, no matter what, every week without fail, you've got to refit something, and it's boring. I'm not interested in it whatsoever. It's also a case of the haves and have-nots. You're either killing something outright before even, for example, when I first put the 4 Howies in the base before the new armor come out, got 4 Howies in there. Literally, people weren't even getting past my first portal, which is literally the entrance of my base, before they were dying. And then now you release the new armor, and they could just walk straight in, and I do hardly any damage to them or whatever. There's no fucking balance to it. It's boring. You're thinking, I really actually want to get the tech that I need, but I can't because of work commitments or because of this or because of that. If I can't be on for 2 days, then that puts me behind like 2 months. It's not a good way to have a game, because people are just going to get bored of it.
And you lose players because of that.
Exactly.
And it's not even, anytime you lose a player of note, like, anytime somebody that's been around for a long time leaves, they've made friendships in the game, and they keep, honestly, we keep each other in the game.
Well,
You
yeah, for
lose
sure.
those figures that have been in the game for a long time because you can't design the game and implement the game correctly. It's a ripple effect. More and more people are leaving the game. I like playing Battle Pirates, but what I like to do in Battle Pirates is hit bases. Um, and if that's something that can't be done, and if they can't feasibly come up with a way to make other people catch up, I'm not necessarily saying everyone has to come to the same level, that I play at, because I invest maybe more than some do. But if you can't find a quicker way of bringing people up through the ranks so that they can play competitively, and you keep beating them down with shit content that's time intensive and no reward for your money and has to be scrapped by the time they get it built, um, you're not gonna rejuvenate the game. It's not possible at the current their current
Well, the thing
strategy
is,
is not going to do that.
I mean, me and you, Padre, both of us, you know, have played the game for a number of years at a high level in the game, right? You know, right up the top, whatever. Yeah, I don't find it even marginally entertaining hitting a base that I know that I can just walk straight in to the back and go, ha ha ha, I've got everything. I like a bit of a challenge, but I don't like hitting a base that is impossible to fucking get through purely because of broken game mechanics.
Yes, I agree with that. There's no challenge in the game. I enjoyed a challenging environment, but at the same time, it can't be so skewed that even if you have everything, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. And but it works both ways. Defending my base means nothing if I've got like last week, I got 4 houses and I could just pull my guard, and it was just like, and nobody could get in because they literally got through the front door and they sunk.
Yeah.
That's not fun, and neither is hitting a base where you know it's not even tactical anymore either. Whereas you can take out specific turrets in order to be able to get into a base either. So, I hit a base the other night that had 2 Howies on the island, had 6 ballistic turrets in total, and I took them out from outside, and then I walked in and still couldn't get in because the bonuses still counted. And it's just
That's a
stupid.
shit mechanic. It
Yeah.
should be as the fire supports were. If you killed a fire support, it didn't affect it anymore. Same as the gates.
Yeah.
That's a shit mechanic. If you kill a gate, the gate should not have an effect that lingers on the map. I feel like that would be a great improvement to the game, is to change it so
Yeah.
that stacking bonus went away as you killed turrets, because then you'd actually have to design your base with some care. You couldn't just stick these turrets anywhere on gates or whatever. You'd have to strategically place them. Now it's you got the tech, you put them anywhere, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about ships.
Well,
There's
this
no
is exactly
skill
it.
in that.
Because I mean, the base that I hit, if that was the case, I mean, he had a couple of blunderbuss 2s up front and a Howie up front, and you could take those turrets out if you thought about it without receiving any damage from them. But then you could take those out, and then you could have got in, and it had a decent attack at the base because the guard fleet was a fairly good guard fleet as well. So you still had that kind of balance there. But because of even though the turrets are dead, they're still getting the bonus crap.
Yeah.
It's completely broke, and it doesn't actually want me to make me want to go out and hit bases. It's just.
And this brings me back to testing, and the resource that Kickside chooses to ignore the most, which is its player base. Again, I know they have test servers, but I'm fairly certain that they don't test the PvP environment in those test servers. I can't speak to that explicitly because I don't know, but
It
there's
seems
no
to be
way.
erratic when they do. But
Yeah, there's
sorry, go
no
ahead.
way that they're testing this PvP environment that they've created, or they would be getting clear feedback, because I'm pretty sure the people they have in this testing environment aren't morons. You know, I don't think all.
Well,
I don't.
not all of them.
Well, not all of them. I'm sure one or two are. You know,
Yeah.
but no.
But we can move on. I'm sorry.
No,
So it's rather
I'm
than-
not even trying to say that they're. I'm saying that Kixeye is not listening to these people. They're clearly, you know, they clearly have to have an understanding of the game. So clearly, if they have an understanding of the game, they are going to be telling Kixeye, "Hey, this is bad." So Kixeye's either underutilizing them by not giving them this tech to test, or they're completely ignoring them. I'd like to see a broader subset of people vetted and brought into that inner circle for more perspective. And I'd like to see what they're able to test opened up to a degree where they can get a better overview of what's actually going on in the game. That's something
Yeah.
I would hope would be achieved. You know, so they start listening to the players. That's part of what we're doing the protest for is, you know, there's a wealth of information and ideas that they could draw upon if they would listen to their players. And that's not happening. So we're trying to make our voice a little bit louder and just not even activate the bounty at all. So for my alliance and many of the other alliances that are participating in this as a protest, we will not be activating bounty the entire time, regardless of what's in it. I don't care what kind of carrots they throw out. We are going to sit by, watch people do bounty, and not participate. Now, granted, no one will probably get a golden nexus where I am, and it may be difficult for other people to do bounty in the world that I'm in, but we definitely will not be spending our coin to participate in an event that is this flawed.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and the only thing that I'm a little bit, I'm not sure what the word is, but a little bit worried about is that some of the things you mentioned at the end could actually increase coining, but I'm not certain. But the
Yeah,
really
well,
stubborn, or
yeah, I'm saying any attacking that we do needs to be coin free. So, I mean, if you have 8 or 10 alliances that aren't doing it, and someone hops on a Nexus, that's what? Let's say 60%, and everybody had 100. So let's say we'll just roughly say 500 megas that can be expended free of charge to take megas off. So good luck getting a Nexus in alpha.
I think Hefe was speaking more of the other side doing the coining where maybe they wouldn't have before.
Oh, no, I get that.
You know.
But if people don't get
Yeah,
what they want,
it's
they
a
won't have an
hard thing
enjoyable
to.
experience. They're less apt
Yeah.
to participate.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, I mean,
And I mean, I
it's
hate that it has to come to this, but this, I mean, for me, I feel like this is sort of the last recourse that we have. Because what have you seen that's changed for the positive in this game in the last 6 months with all this new tech that's been released?
There is nothing. It's just got worse and worse.
It's
the last 6 months I can see some stuff, but the last 4 months I have not.
so
In the last
4
6 months,
ago-
you had the bounty change, the original bounty change,
Which they
but the last.
fucked up. Month
Well,
after
yeah,
month after month.
But what I'm saying is the last 6 months they've done some good things, but the last 4 months they have not.
What gets me though is like, you know, as a business, if shit's not broken, don't fucking fix it. You know, if you're earning like those original bounty changes they done, everybody loved it. All right. And then they've decided that they're gonna change these mechanics, change those mechanics and everything. Just leave it like it fucking was when everybody loved it. It'd be easier. There's less work for you. Everybody else isn't going to get fucking pissed off with it because you're changing everything left, right, and center every two fucking minutes. And then I just don't understand where they think that pushing stuff down our throats works with trying to get us to coin, because it doesn't. Because, like we've said on this show, what I dread to think how many million times we've said it, is that people are going to coin when shit's fun. When shit's not fun, nobody's going to coin nothing, because they just get fed up with it, and they'll go, and this is a prime example of it. It's just people are just going to literally go, well, you've pulled the thing that we actually really wanted to start off with, which I don't think is a bad thing to a certain extent. But, it's just people they're so fed up with this attitude of, we're going to get you to do this, we're going to do this, and blah, blah, blah. And people aren't getting anywhere, or they're getting everywhere. And so at the top level, you're bored because you can't do shit. And like, people hit you, and that damn well they're not going to get in, so that's boring. You go and hit bases that should be challenging but not impossible. Well, you can't do that, so that's boring. So, you're not giving anybody any incentive to do anything in order for them to coin. So, like we said millions of times before, make shit fun, people will coin.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make.
I think that the majority of people will pay when it is fun, instead of the Kixeye mentality, which is pay now because we made it.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree. I mean, because they've created these, I don't know. They've created this situation where I'm very frustrated with what's going on at this point, and I'm not really sure what the solution is. I mean, we've talked about it. I mean, as far as the PvP thing, I've thrown out one solution, but at the end of the day, it's like, why didn't we figure this out before? That this current model, it does not work. I mean, this current model of deflection combined with you combine deflection with this damage tier bonus thing, it only really represents the top couple percentage of the game, and because the rest of it's like 360 damage, and it's not enjoyable for the rest of the players to like just create timeout bases and whatnot. It's not smart. It doesn't create a situation where people are like, oh, I'm getting better. Like the example that
all or nothing is just not fun. It's simple. It's as simple as that. It's come to a game with it's either all or nothing. You've got the tech and there's nothing, or you're trying to search for that tech all the time. You can't get it because the people who've got all of the tech are the ones that are basically fucking you in the arse big time, constantly.
Okay. Well,
in which case, nobody's progressing anywhere. The ones at the top are getting bored because there's nothing for them to do, and you've completely fucked the entire game big time, which is where we're at now. So, which I think everybody kind of agrees with, really. And there's no fun anywhere in the game at the minute at all, because you created the haves and have-nots, and the ones that are trying to get to the point of being a have no opportunity to get there. So it's completely broke.
Yeah, and the last thing that that new mechanic that they add, where anybody can hit anything, that's the most broken thing. I really wish they'd pulled that from what's going on with Bounty, as far as the hit down thing. it doesn't allow players that don't have all the tech to get into the game, or at least strategically think about it. Okay, well, I'm gonna lag behind the higher end players. The players that have more tech than me. You can't do that now. Now you're just like, there's going to be some asshole that wants to get number one on the leaderboard, right? And he's going to hit every player that doesn't have the right number of tier 7 stuff, and he's gonna get 5 million points, and that'll happen. I mean, that's what happens in this game, and I'm not. I mean, that's the most broken thing. They remove one part of it. They to make their fucking hall useful, but they should remove that part of it that allowed players across the game to participate, because that was the strategy in this. I mean, you could hit the base targets and whatnot, but now they made it so who even cares? I mean, you can't. I don't know. I'm just upset with the whole thing as far as what they chose to pull as opposed to what they didn't choose to pull, because they should have pulled that hit down penalty before they removed any of this other stuff. I mean, because that only benefits less than 1% of the players, and it appears at times that's who they're listening to. They're not listening to all of the 1% players, but they're listening to some of them, and that is a travesty what they did with that, because now it just eliminates so many people from the game, or at least from the bounty. It's just
You're
not.
saying that hit down thing was a player based idea?
That's what I heard. That's what it was in the TFC.
That player
just-
clearly doesn't care about.
Just want to make a
smaller
public
players.
service announcement that Spax just messaged me to say that anybody partaking in bounty is going to get sniped constantly.
Yeah, I think SPAC will be on the warpath.
Yeah.
Public service announcement.
Yeah, public service announcement from Spac. I've got 4 bases geared for FVF. Every world is going to be sniped if they partake in bounty.
Yeah, which is it's whatever.
His fleet's really cheap to repair, and it pretty much kills everything. So if you see it, run away.
Yeah, but it really doesn't fix things.
No.
I mean, it depends on who he's sniping and whatnot. If he's sniping with people that are
making the hit down idea.
Yeah. I mean, the people that think that they're the 1%, if we're pushing forward the 1% and that we're not allowing other players into the game because we feel that we're special, yeah, you can hit them. But I mean, the rest of the players that are trying to catch up, that's not really helping the game in my mind. To hit those players that are trying to get back up to where everybody else is, whether you missed a Howie here or an Executioner, or you missed both the Halos because they sucked, based on the current game design.
I will be doing bounty to the point where I will get enough points to get 2 Halos, and that is it. I'll be done.
Which all that kind of brings us back to the idea of, if you're killing a lot of fleets on the ocean, how many of those people are going to be coining? And in the end, Kixeye wins no matter who coins.
And I won't be coining any fleets to do bounty either. I will literally get as many points as I can without coining, get what I need to get, and that'll be it.
And I would say to anyone listening, if you want to come to Alpha and not start the bounty, by all means, feel free to join us. We'd be glad to have you. Hopefully we can make a statement loud enough that Kix will listen to. If you don't want to come to Alpha, or you do start the bounty, I would recommend that you do it as coin free as you possibly can. that's all. I mean, that'll still help even if you're, not willing to go the full Monty. Do what you can.
I'll be perfectly honest. The only reason that I am going to do it is because I'm sick to death of getting flattened constantly whilst I'm at work and not being able to get anywhere, and subsequently having to either subsidize that by missing out on other stuff or having to coin on it, and that's the only reason that I'll be doing it.
Okay. Wow.
Well,
We've gone for an hour and 41 minutes. I need to get a beer, but
I heard a soda pop can pop at least once.
well, at least once. But we've been going for an hour and 40 minutes. But
Yeah.
like I
I'm
said
not saying we're ending the show. I'm
Get
just
yourself
saying
a
that,
keg. Get yourself a keg for the Wednesday night show.
I don't know if there's really anything left to discuss. I mean, we're just discussing our disgust.
well, yeah,
We'll just put in a quick summary of things.
Yeah.
Everything's shite.
yeah,
I like it.
That was quick. That was quick. Now
Are there
let
any
me
more
get
slides?
a couple more slides dealing with the TLC. I'll be back in a couple minutes. So I'm just saying that I was going to step away for a minute.
Do you want to go to the next slide while you step away, or?
Yeah, we'll go to the next slide whilst he steps
either
away,
way.
because otherwise we'll be
Either
here until fucking 5 o'clock in the morning.
Because what if he falls on the way?
Oh
Not that
no,
I
this is
hope
the
you
slide
don't.
I have to
I'm
be
just
here
saying,
for.
Do you have your life alert on?
All right.
Fall into the can,
Even
get
though
it.
I don't have a beer, I'll talk to this one. This is something I've been pushing for a long time. Well, not a long time, but ever since they've fucked up PvP, the fact that they have put all the tier bonuses and damage in a deflection environment is not really working for a lot of people. They need to make the tier bonus something else besides damage to overcome deflection.
All
So
I've got to say on the
that
matter
other
is
turret types have
all I've got to say on the matter
some
is
sort of value.
broke-
What?
They broke this game as soon as they had added deflection in. Simple as that.
Yeah. But what I'm suggesting is they can look at the game and figure out how to introduce new technology into the game by making the tier bonus like something like multi-shot. You're already, like the example with, I'm only going to do it quickly. I only do it quickly on every show because I brought this up multiple times. Less than 105. It can be snipeable. It's going to overcome whatever deflection is on the map. And the tier bonus is going to be multi-shot.
I've got a better idea. Why don't we just have deflection, and then instead of having 100% handicap on any
that makes it more complicated. Well, why don't we also have resistances? That makes it more
it doesn't
more complicated.
It doesn't because it stops that all or nothing aspect of things.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to do is remove that all or nothing by taking away the tier bonus being damage. I'm making it multi-shot for something that's, or I'm making it reload for something that adds shockwaves or DOT, or something that adds projectile speed, so it's more likely to hit, as opposed to damage, because we're in this deflection environment. That's more what I was shooting at. Trying to remove this thing where, like at the bottom, it takes 85 hours for an unboosted executioner 2 to kill a fleet of missile storm cruisers. You guys can run the math and tell me if I'm wrong. But I ran the math, and that's what? I am wrong?
You're not wrong.
Okay. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, that's not. What is the point for any low-level player to go out and get an Executioner 2, or or a Halo 2, or any of the Tier 7 stuff, if one of them does crap for you, doesn't do anything. That's why I'm trying to create a system or suggest a system where there's different tier bonuses. It's not damaged, overcome deflection, where it becomes a binary situation. I want a situation where there's more strategy in the game. And that's more what I'm thinking about, is just adding some strategy to the game, because you could see different placements for turrets like this. Then like, okay, well, I'm going to turn my halos into bubble fodder. I'm going to do all these things that don't make sense in the game. Because right now, if you win these halos, which are long range weapons, what are you going to do? You're going to turn them into your bubble pad. Doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, unless somebody understands why that makes sense. It makes sense in the current part of the game, but it's not strategic. There's no strategy in that. It's just sort of like, I don't know. I'm really pissed off with the current situation as a base defender. I'm not really a base hitter, but I'm a base defender, and I like the strategy associated with that. In the current situation, it's just about what you got. I mean, you can just go out and buy whatever. You know, you can coin and get whatever, and that's what you get. But this is, the current situation is not good. They need to take a really hard look at this, and I wish they would tell players, because I think a lot of players are just holding on. They're holding on until they fix it. And the longer, you know, every time they say, oh, there's not going to be any swings in the game or whatnot, it's swinging way more than it used to. And they need to see a plan that works. And this isn't their plan, as far as I know, but we haven't seen their plan. And it's frustrating for, I've been playing forever, and this is really frustrating to deal with. So, all right. You guys can talk about this if you want, or we can go on to the time-limited campaigns.
DLCs.
Okay, no, all righty. All right, I'll go get a beer.
Who wants to go? Anybody?
I'm kind of an expert on not doing TLC, so I literally.
How about you go, Grimace?
Yay. So yeah. I don't know. I did this one. I started this one this time around. I don't remember what I used last time around. This time around, I started out trying to use my skies because my mana cores were repairing, or my flag mana core, my Makara was repairing after VXP weekend. So I took my skies in and wasn't happy with their performance with the ECMs. And I know you have to drive them a certain way to kind of trick the ECMs or overwhelm them. So I went back out, got my Phoenixes, and just ran through these. But I was upset, as someone who's done it before, that I had to do stupid prize pack 1 for that 1900 VXP token. But because it's, as someone who's done it before, that I had to do stupid prize pack 1 for that 1900 VXP token. But because it's
all good. I've muted Spack.
Thank you. So yeah, I mean, but I'm assuming this is the same as last time, and I think last time I ended up using my Phoenixes to kill the fleets, and then I went through with, at the time, 2 mana cores and just killed all the turrets, and it was pretty easy. But again, I have the ships. So anybody else? Actually, another thing I was thinking about was, didn't they increase the number of mana core build tokens that you can store up to 10?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure, but
I believe last time you couldn't hold more
on
than
the old
3
tokens, really.
But the VXP tokens, you still are limited to like 5 on the 9500 ones. So be aware of that. If you try to do both this one and the Scorpion Sting at the same time, you're gonna throw away a bunch of those VXP tokens if you want to use them. And I actually started building a missile Manticore fleet, or at least another ship, just to use those tokens up. Because I'm probably going to end up building a second fleet anyway, so I might as well use them while I got them. Anybody else got anything to say on the lines, man?
I think it's good that they've put out a TLC just to be able to get the actual Manticore itself, because last raid was completely like fuck up, and you know, most people who actually needed to get it weren't able to get it. So it's, to me, it's kind of a good thing that they've done it. The targets are reasonable; they're not ridiculously hard like some of the raid targets were. So you know, it's good that they've allowed a way in which people can get Manticores in order to do the raids. But I still think that if the raid is going to be of a similar nature to what it was last time, that they need to take a long, hard look at themselves and think, you know, what the fuck are we doing, really? So it's a good thing that they're actually doing it and allowing people to get the Manticore that couldn't get it in the raid because of their cock up.
Yeah, I mean, to get the tech out there for sure for people, because if it's not in their hands, they can't, you know, coin it and use it.
Well,
But
exactly.
the people that just spent 40 million probably aren't happy.
That too.
Yeah.
If they were able to get 40 million,
if they grinded away with Phoenixes and got 40 million and then see this come out, they're not terribly happy, do you think?
No,
I mean,
but you know, and not to excuse it, but this has happened so many times before. It's like, you know.
And what about the people who only had Skyfires? How are they going to catch up?
Well, there's that, but then you can do it if you use your brain and use right pinches in the right place. You can do it fairly well.
Yeah, it's not easy. You take a lot of damage.
Yeah, there's probably
small
still
little
some
pinch.
point involved to get all the
Inclusive. It doesn't help the right people catch up. That's the issue.
Okay, let's go on to the next one. Scorpion Sting. A lot of VXP tokens. Mastery Prize. We got some more build tokens. I know Grimace is doing what I'm doing. I've started building, even though I haven't perfected my Manticores, you know, that are right now scattergun based. I'm building more just to take advantage of some of the VXP tokens that are available.
Yep.
So, all right.
The other thing I noticed too, that we can't use this skin on our Makara, I don't know, but it would be nice if we could. That way, like your scattergun fleet, if you want that one to have the Nightmare skin, you know, you have it on your flagship as well as your 4 regular ships, so you can quickly look in your dock. Yeah. And pick out those ships really quick. I know it's a nitpicky thing, but it would just be nice to be able to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's sort of first world problems, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely first world.
Yeah.
But it was something I noticed today because, you know, I was messing with those. So anyway.
Okay. Do we have anything else? Oh yeah. Just everybody. I sort of brought that up earlier. You have limits on these, so don't overcome your limits.
And also, if you've got a full Manticore fleet with the flag and somebody snipes it like they've just done to mine, don't pay the 38 coins to repair your fleet.
Okay.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah, it is a problem as far as the 22.5 repair time with a full fleet. We brought that up a zillion times, and I'm not sure. We can bring stuff up every
Well,
single show.
I just literally will now not be playing and like using any fleet now until that is repaired. So
Well, can I just clarify something on the sniping point? I heard my name was mentioned earlier with regards to it. I'm not going to snipe everyone who takes part in bounty. There are specific people who poo-pooed the idea of the bounty protest and said they are going to use the new hull to bash us. I will just say, number one, they can't do math, and number two, I'm going to have a great time with them. Does that make things clearer?
Yeah.
Yes. It isn't a random crusade against everyone, it's specific people. But anyway.
Okay.
I'm not a complete bitch, just most of the time.
Right. All right. Do we have any more slides, or
I don't know. You made the shit.
This is the last one.
Yay!
I'll take you off Present Grimace because I know you don't like to be on Present. And I did post the link on the right-hand side in case anybody would like to join the show. We have gone to 2 hours.
well, that's not the longest show ever, is it?
It was fun.
No.
See you all in Alpha.
I'm not going to Alpha.
Where are you now, Spac? I think you're in Sector 2.
Which base?
Head over.
Fleet v Fleet setups on 3 or 4 bases at the moment. Trust me, it's going to be fun.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're going to end the show at this point, and I posted the link in case anybody would like to join us. And
Thanks for listening.
yeah, I really wish they had changed the hit down thing. That was my biggest thing because I think it really keeps players out of bounty and out of PvP, because anybody can hit them. If there was a PvP, but right now, those players can't. They're not going to be able to participate. At least the way I understand the game is currently constructed. So, anybody want to say goodnight? And anybody's welcome to join.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good evening, boys and girls.
Hello.
Later, people, and see you on Friday, mid-bounty.